Can you hear me? Can you speak? Can you hear me? I can't hear you though. Hang on. Okay, I can hear you. Can you just speak? Okay, now I can hear you.
Okay, cool.
Claudia, can you speak? I can't hear you. Oh yeah, I can. Yeah, I can hear you. We're still missing Katya. Hey, Katya. Everyone can hear you. Okay, that's good that everyone's here. So there's going to be like an introduction first from PRAKSIS. Can you all hear me? just give me a thumbs up if you can hear me or not. Yeah, I think I can hear all of you. Giselle, I think you're the only one I haven't checked.
Can you hear us?
Yep. Yeah. Okay. Awesome. All right. So just like your mics should be muted until you're called, but otherwise, is everyone ready? Awesome. It's gonna be great. I wish I could show you the audience. Actually, I can, I guess. A small audience, but it's building. And I don't know how many people are watching online, but it is streaming right now. Okay, so I'm just going to check in and make sure we're almost ready to start, and I'll be back in a sec.
The sun here is actually when it's out, it's pretty strong. And I Yeah, and then the factories there and then work. See, Norway, I don't know if they have that. In Europe, that company is hydroelectric dam things outside some of those lights that go up. There might be stuff from but everything is kind of on a small scale. I was in London for Oh yeah, she's great.
Alright, sorry to keep everybody waiting. So, my name is Nicholas Jones. I'm running PRAKSIS, the residency program here in Oslo. I'm going to give a quick introduction to the residency and what we're doing at the moment, and then Simon from the Movie Museum will introduce the Anthologies project they're working with, and then Jeremy can take it away. So, yeah, at the moment it's been a real pleasure to work with Jeremy, also in discussion with the guys at UKS, and with Simon and I, as well as Sophia at the Movie Museum, to develop this thing around the artist entrepreneur. We're really kind of looking at, came out of the fact that the global kind of tendency at the moment for public funding bodies to take money that's traditionally put into funding arts and culture and move it towards startup culture and business culture. And us kind of looking at what the issues with that are, but also what potential positive sides of that, or what might come out of that. What would happen if, in the way that the funding bodies seem to want, what happened if you empowered a group of artists by giving them the skills and more knowledge of startup culture, but kind of done it in a critical way, but nevertheless kind of taken seriously as well, and so kind of taking a neutral stance within this, but we'll see what comes out of it. So at this point I'll let Simon take over and introduce the Movie Museum. It's from London today.
Well, thank you, Nick, for that introduction, and thank you all for coming. First, I want to thank Nick and Charlotte for making all this happen, and UKS, and of course Jeremy for being the star of the evening, and all the collaborators. I don't know how much you know about the Movie Museum, so I'll give a very short introduction, and then I'll give an introduction about TMN Anthologies, which is our new online platform, of which this is a part.
Do you want me to put it up on screen? Should I put it up? I don't know.
Oh, yeah,
I'm improvising here. Hang on a sec.
So, the Movie Museum is a nomadic incubator for artists and cities, and so essentially what we do is we go around the world setting up artist residencies, inviting people from all over the world to come and live and work in a particular city, to create new works and then exhibit in the space with public programming and events. So Jeremy has been one of these resident artists. And one of the things that was always an issue for us as an organization was the fact that because we were nomadic and we didn't have a permanent space, we didn't have a place that we could just walk into every day like a museum has, where you could see what exhibition is on. And this was always a really complicated proposition for us because, you know, we always wanted to have a place where people could interact with the art. And so, in thinking about what we can do to resolve this, the internet provided a solution, an opportunity for us. And so we began to think internally, and as well with lots of artists, and especially with Jeremy, about what we can do as an organization to take advantage of this online space and extend our programming in a meaningful way online. One of the difficulties with the online space is that it's still very experimental. A lot of institutions and organizations are still trying to figure out what their online strategies are, how to engage the internet. Is it an archive? Is it a place to put living programming? And I think that by and large it's still being worked out. And so a lot of the questions that we were trying to answer are questions that many of them we haven't answered, and we're trying to work towards a solution. But in doing so, we created this amazing website, again with the help of Jeremy and a couple of other artists, Vaughn, Jonas Lund, and Joe Hamilton. And we have developed the Movie Museum Anthologies. And the Movie Museum Anthologies is basically a series of collections of work to talk about art and to make art, but beyond the written word. So we wanted to really take advantage of the internet and the different technologies that are available to give them over to artists. So Lean Artist is one of the anthologies that we have available. Right now Jeremy's showing
Technologies tab. I just look at the
which is
I wrote it wrong.
Which is our first anthology that was launched 2 months ago. But I mean, I encourage you to have a look at the platform, to explore it. It's really, you know, art is one of those things that really has to be experienced in person much of the time, but the idea of this was we wanted to create a platform where this is the real thing. You know, you're actually this is the way that this was supposed to be experienced online. So I encourage you to go on and have a look. And yeah, that's my introduction. And so I'll hand it over to you, Jeremy.
Great.
And after we'll, you know, if you want to ask any questions or chat, please do so. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, hi everyone. I'm so excited to be here. I'm famous new media artist Jeremy Bailey. That was Simon. That was Nick. They're wonderful people. Thank you for having us here. Thank you for coming. I'm not very well known in Oslo, apparently. Normally I'd be just pushing people out the door. We would all be standing room only. But you know, this is where we're getting started. It's a new place. Now, today really isn't about me. It's about all of you. It's about the other artists that I'm going to share some work with you that they've done as well. But it's primarily today is all about you. It's all about all of you. You're the stars here. I call myself a famous new media artist because I'm awesome, but also because I believe that everyone is famous, that technology and creativity and the internet and all these amazing things we surround ourselves with have given us the potential to all be famous, to all think of ourselves as famous. And I think that's pretty cool. And I think all of you are pretty cool. So now when you think of yourselves, you probably think of yourselves as part of the cultural industry, as part of culture. You make culture. And you probably think of someone when you think of yourself at night in your dreams, someone like this. You know, someone wearing their studio coat and painting and dabbling and just living the romantic artist's life. But you know very well when you wake up the next morning that reality is closer to this. You're probably actually one of the 99% of artists who earn less than $10,000 a year from your practice. And maybe rags are in style for 1 year, but who knows, next year might not be the case. Now, meanwhile, you know, that's arts culture, and there's been 50% cutbacks across Europe. It's pretty dire times, but meanwhile, there's been another culture that's emerging. In Silicon Valley, a new culture started to emerge a few years ago, more than a few years ago. It's been a long kind of slow, amazing trend, but towards something called startup culture. And then cities all around the world have started to talk about it too, like we need a startup culture. And you know, they've forgotten along the way about culture, I find. You know, we were doing culture before startup culture, but this new culture is very lucrative. Last year alone, a record $65 billion was raised among new startups, brand new startups, from venture capitalists. And so you think of guys like this when you think of startup culture, really smart people with good hair and collars that are maybe a little too broad, not that stylish anymore. However, what I've experienced from 10 years working in startups is something closer to this. Now, I've had a great time in startups, don't get me wrong, but I've also jumped in a lot of bouncy castles. And they do exist. This does happen. It's a very sometimes fun and childish culture, but unfortunately, I've also paid attention to companies that I haven't worked in, and even the one I'm in, and something closer to this is the reality. A lot of misogyny and racism and just blatant sexual, well, it looks like that's a screw that's going to go into, anyway, it's like a rape, I think they call it. Anyway, I've seen this happen. There's a lot of horrible people. So how do these horrible, evil people, now not all of them are horrible, I just want to call out that a few of them elected Donald Trump. And so that's why I'm able to say this now really comfortably, and everyone's like, yeah, Jeremy, go, let's take them down. But there are a lot of bad people, actually. Peter Thiel among them, Palmer Luckey, all these people. How do these great people, I mean horrible people, how do they become so successful? How did they do that? How did they figure this out? Well, it actually the secret lies in Japan, of all places. Back in the 1980s, the Japanese started working on a secret new way, an efficient way of producing amazing growth and quality at very low costs. You know, previously Japanese cars, as an example, used to be considered trash. Like no American would drive a Japanese car. But in a matter of a decade, through this scientific method that came to be known as lean, the Japanese cars became the best quality in the world, the best cars in the world, and they became the largest car companies in the world. Now, these software people, they're not so dumb, and they paid attention to some of this stuff, and they thought, what if we took what the Japanese have done and applied that to software? Maybe we could grow our companies with less money at a higher quality at a faster rate, and we could reduce waste, because these processes are all about reducing waste. They're able to take a very small amount of money and a very small number of resources, and from the bottom up create tremendous growth. And the growth looks something like this. It's a hockey stick that you often hear about, and then that leads to a minion riding a rocket. I only have clip art here. I'm on the $10,000 budget, so I don't have, it's not the best clip art I could find. But anyway, so that they use these methods to get this meteoric growth. I'm sure you've heard of the rocket ship of growth. And they do this. How do they do this? How do they learn these methods? Where do they learn these methods? Well, they also invented this wonderful thing, that's called an accelerator. And in the Valley, an accelerator is a place where you get just a small amount of money, actually, not that much money, but a lot of love. You get a lot of mentorship. You get a lot of peers coming together, supporting one another, a little bit of education mixed with a lot of love. Sounds pretty good, right? As artists, I often feel though like this. I feel out in the cold, with my less than $10,000 a year. Maybe there's a snake coming up. That's probably a startup in the background, waiting to prey on me because I'm going to become the content for their new platform, and that's not a great feeling. And I feel like there's an opportunity though. So this is a couple dares. This is meant to demonstrate that what artists have that these people in Silicon Valley don't have, that I've noticed is incredible, is they have compassion, they have empathy, they have an awareness of social good, and they're also really good critical thinkers. They're critical. They're amazing though, but they're empathetic. And I think this potential is going wasted. If only hugs could scale, I often say. If only hugs could scale. If only we, this is us. This is us right now. We're just teddy bears with a spider, of course, lurking just above our heads. Now, I thought about this, and I thought, what if we could live in another world, right? I'm an artist, I can think differently. what if we could take all the good from startup culture and leave behind the bad, right? Leave behind the rape, the misogyny, the racism, and we could take all the bad of art culture, all like the no money, no support, but all that empathy, and we could form sort of a unicorn-ish Venn diagram. What would that look like? Well, I imagine what that might look like, and late last year, I founded the world's first accelerator for artists. It's called Lean Artist, and Lean's in there because these lean methods are a big part of how I think artists can achieve great success, just like these startups. And so let me tell you a little bit about what we did together. So I taught 10 artists lean methods, and we started 10 startups together. Now, not all of those startups succeeded, but there was a lot of excitement. We all thought we were we were unicorns on rocket ships made out of empathy. That's why there's hearts coming out the back there. And we were really excited. But then, of course, this problem occurred, and I ran out of money. I had a little bit of money, and I had a lot of support, but I could only work with a few artists. So I continued working with a few, actually. I managed to, but I had this sort of problem. I thought, what if I could continue working without any money, or just a little bit of money? And that's where Simon came in. Thank you very much, Simon. With a small check that allowed me to continue to work with 5 of these artists on 4 new startups. Now, I thought we should be able to build something like this, like a beautiful car, with this, but not with 500 pounds as we were given. That's not enough money to build Garfield's beautiful convertible here. How are we going to build these software products, these new companies? And I should tell you a little bit about them. We had ideas from there was an idea for Creative Commons for volunteer labor, for labor contracts. There was an idea for wearables that auto-report sexual harassment. There was an idea for a phone app, an app that would allow you to connect with other creatives. There was just all these great ideas, but all of them if I did them all, it would cost us millions of dollars. So I looked in my bag of tricks, and I came up with an idea. In startup culture, I've actually experienced this where sometimes you don't have unlimited funds. Like I said, they're very tricky people. They figured out some things. And one of the concepts that I remembered is this concept of an MVP, or they call it a minimum viable product. And an MVP is usually like the smallest version or the least amount of work to get something of value out to a customer. And so it usually is almost like a prototype, but just a little bit better. And I thought, well, if I had just enough money for a prototype, I could probably continue with these companies. But I'm not as good a developer as I say I am in my performances. So how can I do this? Well, then I remembered actually some companies do even less. Ooh, how exciting! And what they do is closer to, instead of building a whole convertible, they build something like a skateboard, or maybe even less than a skateboard, maybe like a picture of a skateboard, but it looks really cool. And so they call this a smoke test. And what they sometimes do is they just create marketing and put it on the internet and see if people are interested in the product. And they generate interest. And sometimes a lot of money. You might be familiar with Kickstarter for doing this, right? But a lot of companies covertly launch all kinds of websites and advertisements just to find out if we would buy things. And that allows us to learn the most important thing in the whole world without spending any money. Yes, we've done it. Now we've got an idea. So I went back to these 4 artists and I said, hey, could we go through some processes to find out if we could make money before we spend any money? And they said, yeah. However, you're going to have to do a lot of the work, Jeremy. Of course, I pulled my bootstraps up, I rolled my sleeves, and I went out there, and together, actually, with their input and a lot of their ideas, and some of them even coded their own websites, we put out advertisements and landing pages, and we put them in front of people. So today I want to share with you what we came up with. All of the artists are here with us today. We have 5 beautiful artists who have conceived of 4 brilliant startups, I think, but none of them are finished. So what you're going to see here, it's a smoke test because it might light on fire, it might go down, might collapse. But we're going to learn from that. And there's this idea in startup culture: fail fast, fail often. So there's a lot of failure you're going to see today, but I encourage you to just think of these not only as as ideas for products, but also a different way of working as an artist. and a different way of engaging with the public. So that's kind of a side note. But we're gonna kick things off by talking with Alex and Giselle from Post Religion. Post Religion's a multidisciplinary creative collective and curatorial platform based in London, and they've come up with a product called Collab. These are actually the 4 products we're going to look at today: Collab, Deeply, Oh My God, Armory Solutions, and CCT. We're going to start with Collab. I'm just going to see if they're available. Now, there could be a failure right here because I haven't checked in on Hangouts in a bit. Oh, there they are. Okay, looks like it's going to be all right. Can you guys speak just so we can hear you?
Can you hear us?
Oh, yeah, we can definitely hear you. Can you guys hear us? Is that all right? Okay, so I'm going to do this in kind of an interview format. Alex and Giselle have been sort of preparing, I think, for me to grill them on their product, but they're going to walk us through their website on screen, and then we're going to look at some user reactions. But like, why don't we start out? Why don't we start out by having you guys introduce yourselves?
I'm Giselle. I'm originally from the United States, unfortunately, and now I'm here in London with Alex.
I'm Alex William. I'm a writer based in London and an artist, and I've lived in London my whole life, grew up there.
Great. Why do you guys want to pull up your website and we can take a look at Collab?
Totally. Sorry, just 2 seconds.
We had a little trouble with screen sharing yesterday when we tried. Okay, there I am. That's great.
Can you see the screen?
Yeah, we can see it.
Awesome, great. So this is Collab, an application we have done this manifest for that connects you with creatives in your local area through mutual interests and skill sets.
So can I ask you to start, who is this product for?
We designed Collab for emerging creative practitioners who are at least 18 years old, and also university students in creative degree programs who are looking to collaborate with other creative practitioners.
So how do you know this is a problem, or what problem does this solve for that person?
Well, creators have a hard time, again, speaking as creators, have a hard time finding collaborators quickly and people who are in your local proximity, like especially in bigger cities. It's also hard to find collaborators if you're just building your network, i.e. you're an emerging artist or you've maybe moved to a new city. So that was the problem that we wanted to tackle, finding collaborators quickly and locally.
And how are they solving this problem today? Like, what are people doing if they're not using your app?
A lot of people that actually do this like on social media, Facebook groups, Twitter, or through their friends in their existing network. That's often a hit or miss approach, especially with Facebook groups. You have to already know about the Facebook group and you have to be a member to post for a collaborator.
And how does this product solve that problem? How does it? What is it doing to solve the problem? What's innovative about it?
Well, Collab is super simple to use. It's modeled after location-based social search applications, i.e. something like Tinder. And it helps you find collaborators who match your skill sets. We envision that the application will use an algorithm to connect you with other creative individuals locally who have the same interests as you.
Mm-hmm. And it seems to me like it looks like a dating app.
We've heard that before, but to be honest, I think a lot of apps that use algorithms to match people locally Tinder kind of paved the way for that. So I think that comes to mind often when you have this type of application.
So it's like Tinder for creatives.
You could say that.
Without the sex part. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, without the sex part.
There could be sex though, right?
I mean, whatever you want to, use the app for.
Yeah, like why not? That seems like a good combo. It makes it more appealing.
Sex is a collaboration, so.
Exactly. Yeah, it produces beautiful results. Okay, so why is this product, I'm wondering, important to you? What's important to you about this product? Like, why did you guys do this?
Well, we travel a lot, and when we travel, we do want to meet up with other creatives in the cities that we go to. But there are times when we visit cities and we have no connections there. And if you don't already have a network where you're going, it's hard to actually connect with people and find them. And as many people know, that networks take years to build. But normally you do build networks of people with others that you have mutual interests with. So that was really our driving force for this.
Awesome. So can you tell me a little bit about what you were hoping to learn with the smoke test? Like, obviously, we don't have this app. We can be pretty forthcoming with this audience. It doesn't exist. But we did create a beautiful website. What are you hoping to learn from the smoke test?
With the smoke test, we were hoping to learn if there was even a need for our application. We also wanted consumer feedback on the design and functionality.
Great. I designed the brand, which I'm pretty proud of. I like that it's both a map icon and a heart. So that dating app thing I was getting at. Okay, so one of the things I was going to ask you is, what was your riskiest assumption? So before, whenever you're building a new product, you come up with a list of kind of assumptions, everything you think is true about the world, but might not be. What was the riskiest assumption? Like, what if something didn't work about your app that you wanted to learn about?
Well, ultimately, riskiest assumption we had was that people would even have a need to collaborate with others, and that they were willing to use an application to facilitate this. That's a pretty big assumption for us to make.
Okay, so let's find out if that's true. So we have a video of people using this website and responding to some questions about it that will prompt whether that assumption holds true. So I'm going to switch over. Thank you, Giselle. Just mute your mic while I play the video. We'll be back with you in a second. So we'll find out what Giselle learned from users in this video. 1 second. And Alex. Okay. That's weird, I'm not hearing audio. 1 sec. Oh. Okay, here we go.
A site where you can kind of find local artists and maybe local musicians to kind of create music or art together.
I like the colour, the background colour. The page, the yellow is something new because not many pages are yellow, so can't really associate with it on the side, which is nice because it's unique, what site you're on. And it's very succinct, very clear, there's no confusion there.
The app itself, the design of it, looks kind of very similar to kind of like a dating app.
Yeah, the same way you might expect for a dating app, you can connect creators who are in the same sort of creative area as you.
It shows like no hidden agenda, and of course it isn't going to like throw. It tells you how the money is going to be if you're curious, and that your data will be safe. So I think it's clear to communicate that with the customer in an increasing world of technology and your data being sold on different sites when you assess certain conditions. So that is good.
Well, first of all, it's just got me thinking, and really don't be thinking too hard about that.
When I thought it was just a independent email, and I realized that it's fine.
In that sense, the app is really great, but I want to find out more about these advertiser services, and I don't really kind of get that much information about it, and that's something that I kind of feel is a little wary.
As an idea, I like the idea of it, so it makes sense to me, and I think I would probably use it, so.
Food.
That's what this year. I wouldn't put anything there just because ladies like that. That's a bit of an issue, really.
So I want to know why I should sign up to this app compared to connecting with people through Facebook and linking up through that way, or connecting with people through Twitter. Why is this app so different?
I've already got an orchestra that I play with, and I'm just not really looking to find people interested in my skill because I'm already surrounded by people interested in interested in what I'm interested in. Just at this point in life, I'm just not looking to collaborate with anyone. Excuse the car. But but in the future I can definitely see myself using that, and maybe I'll even share the website with some friends.
Okay, I'm gonna go back to Giselle and Alex. So, what did you guys learn from these tests? Oh, hang on, I can't hear you again. One sec. It's weird. Are you unmuted?
Can you hear us?
Yep.
Cool. We noticed that a lot of people who wanted to try the app required more information about that, like actually how the app works and details on the pricing model before they were willing to fill in their profile. We also learned that people are lazy with text boxes. They prefer categories. We also learned that, surprisingly, there are some creatives out there who prefer to keep their practice very insular. And of course, thanks to you, Jeremy, we got a lot of positive feedback on the site design, the branding, and the beautiful logo.
I'm glad we have that figured out. So, what are you guys planning to do next?
So we're going to add an extra section of the website with a detailed description of how the app actually functions, and we are going to provide more clarity on the pricing model. Obviously, it's free, but people want to know a little bit more information about how the advertisers work.
And if you get this right, do you think you could see yourself doing this full time? What if I raised some money for you?
Oh, I'm totally down if you're raising money for us. Yeah, like we believe that this is something we would use if it was out there, so we would completely be willing to go full time with it.
Well, the good news is we've spent $0 except hundreds of hours of my time on this, so we're in good shape. All right, thanks so much. You guys it's a beautiful idea, and I'm looking forward to having sex and making paintings in London sometime soon.
Yeah, thank you so much for having us.
Take care. Okay, so we're gonna move along here, and we're gonna talk next to Claudia Lomoschitz. I'm terrible at pronouncing Austrian names, and I'm just gonna bring her up. And Claudia is an artist living in Vienna and in Hamburg, so she's international, transnational rather. And Claudia, hi Claudia, can we hear you?
Yes.
Okay, and you're currently pursuing a PhD at the Academy of Fine Arts in Vienna, right?
Yes.
Where you're researching choreographic objects and induced lactation. Before we get into your product, can you talk to me a little bit about your induced lactation research? You don't want to, it's okay, all right.
As you might know, that even men who lactate, which like takes 7 weeks,
I know well, yes.
So that's gonna be my end performance on Kampnagel in Hamburg. So that's what I'm researching right now.
Great. So I guess let's talk about your project. Who is your product for? Do you want to bring up your website?
So. Does it work? Yes.
I see, yeah, there we go. Yep.
The website, the early adopters of this product, I guess it would be safety fanatic families or radical art collectors. I engaged with the website in with the format of products, I guess. So I developed a product that is an artistic safety solution. And I would assume that the white male superiority would be quite good or interested. So,
what problem are you solving for these people? These what did you call them? Safety fanatics and radical collectors?
Yes, we're providing this kind of soft guns, and it's a simple, playful, artistic safety solution. And because the world is a very dangerous place, and I think we could equip and take over the weapon industry market by 2020.
So the idea is we could go to war with marshmallow guns instead of real guns,
yeah.
And okay.
Yeah, it's much more comfortable. The smell is intriguing. The design is quite great. It's the sensual thing you want to touch and you want to carry around every day. It has a childhood memory recognition option. And
I've been wondering what you mean by this childhood memory recognition. Did you eat a lot of guns when you were a child?
No, but maybe I ate a lot of things.
Ah, candy, right, okay. So how does your product solve this problem of oh, that's a nice image, yeah. Or why is this, can you tell me why this is an important product to you, Claudia?
Look, I think in my artistic practice, it's often based in performance, and the software is kind of a sculpture you can engage with. So, so I actually can think of any better product. And maybe did I mention these fancy candy colors you can order them?
You did not mention the fancy colored version. No, I noticed that one's smaller though.
I mean, I did play along with the website, so I'm the only one like giving recommendations to it.
Right.
So the whole form is upside down.
What were you hoping to learn with this smoke test?
I think I want to see how an artwork and how the kind of website online structured product digital setting case would work, and how this product made for touch and kind of physical interaction, and as a kind of also playful, choky product will work out on this website. And so yes.
And do you think you had any assumptions that, or is there a risky assumption that you have about your product? I mean, I think the price is very high.
Yeah, because I think my riskiest assumption is that people really buy it, and I have to stay all day in the kitchen and it's going to be sticky and dirty. So I hope nobody's buying it because I don't really want to.
Yes, because I consulted you to lower the price and you stated, I don't want this to be successful, didn't you? Claudia was afraid she'd be trapped in the kitchen, which is quite ironic given the patriarchy of guns and stuff, that she'd be making these soft guns for the rest of her life in a sticky kitchen. But I assure you, I think we could find a manufacturer.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, well, shall we find out what users thought?
Yes.
Okay. If you can mute your mic, I'll switch it over and we'll find out what users thought of soft gun. One sec.
Enjoy the sweetness of safety. Most promising product is century by God.
Safe and friendly turns into a traditional firearm. Wow. Okay.
Well, being European myself, I never really understood why gun law is the way it is in America. So if this was an alternative to, at least for some people, for having 85 million people in America with a gun, I think this would be a great solution if it helps some of them feel safe enough about it.
I guess I can't wrap my head around a gun that's shaped and looks soft like a gun, so I wonder how do I protect myself with that. So that's kind of where I am with the test.
Is it food? Is it a towel? Is it a joke? I don't know what this is at all without being able to click somewhere else.
It's something silly. I don't know, reading through this American dream-friendly candy, so I guess it's food. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it must be candy. It's talking about childhood memory recognition, flavors, candy. So it's not super clear what it is, but I think it's some sort of edible gun.
This is a pricing model we decided to launch with. What do you think of it? Well, if I completely understand what the product really is, I won't be able to give you. I think it's very expensive, but
it's a joke. What is this? Available fund sizes and colours, buy one get two free. Just 500 quid. Well, at least you can pay with a Visa card. This is so bizarre. I think perhaps might be a little bit overpriced, unless it's got gold inside or something.
So now that I've decided it's kind of just to be funny and maybe be a joke, I think it's kind of clever. So you get 3 marshmallow guns for $500. So silly but fun. And the page looks so realistic that I'm taking it seriously. That's why I wasn't sure if it was a joke or not, but I'm pretty sure it is.
I think from things I've mentioned previously, it's clear that I will not buy this product. First of all, I'm not from America, so well, this doesn't really, make sense when it comes to our family, because we don't have firearms over here in Holland, so we don't need an alternative to it either.
I don't know what the product is at the moment. You got some fantastic reviews from yourself. What are you getting out of this? This is bizarre.
Thanks, please let us know if there's anything else we should have asked you that you feel might be important. I guess you should ask if I like marshmallows.
Any final thoughts? No?
Oops. I just cut it off, but the final thoughts are, I'm looking forward to getting paid, he says at the end there. Okay, so I'm just going to switch back to Claudia. Hi, Claudia.
Hi.
Oh, you brought one. Nice. There's applause, tepid applause in the audience. So, what did you learn from these tests?
I was quite, I think it was but I was shocked.
Can you repeat yourself? Sorry, we're having trouble hearing you.
Yeah. I don't know. Can you hear me now?
Yep.
All right. But I was quite shocked that people took it for granted and how easy it is to create a realistic surface, and people got completely confused and made a fuss about the price and asked themselves if it's gold. They didn't get like an artistic safety solution, I guess. So it was humoristic, but it was quite in some sense. And I guess the website might be a fail and no one will buy the product. And I quite like that.
So what do you plan to do next?
The product is one of many safety solutions, and maybe we should put them all online. I'm not planning to sell them, but this one will be in a piece in Canton soon, so let's see what happens.
And you did mention to me that you were willing to lower the price just a little bit so that I could buy one, right?
I thought it's funny to have announced 1, 2, 3 in the price.
1, 2, 3? 123?
Yes.
Okay. Well, we'll find out if that works. Thanks so much, Claudia. Thanks for sharing. Keep up the good work. Thanks. Great. So moving on, people will round of applause. Why not? Thank you very much. So we're going to move on and speak next with Kathia Von Roth. Katya is a Hamburg-based artist, and Hamburg's where I ran the original Lean Artist program. And Katya and I have been working together on a few things since then, but she's also been working on what we worked on originally all the way back last summer. Katya is an activist and social engineer. She defines herself as a revolution consultant for a post-competitive future. So tell us what that's all about, Katya.
So hi everyone. At the moment I'm working more for the revolutionary side, but I'm experiencing a lot of different artist collectives, and I'm always thinking about organization structures. So I think I'll show you the website.
Okay, you're going to bring up the website right away. Great.
Yeah.
Inception.
Yes, it's working?
Yeah. Yeah, why don't you start off by telling us who this website's for?
Yeah, so it's for people like me, people like that work in different collectives, in art collectives and political collectives that really want to reach something and might not have the time to find pretty good organization structures. And furthermore, it's for people that never heard something about the possibility of working collectively to learn that it's possible and that there's a lot of knowledge how to do this.
Now, you've had a lot of personal experience. You said it's for people like you. What problem are you solving for people like you?
Yeah, so the problem I'm experiencing is at first that often there's no time to discuss a good working structure. But on the other hand, there's also like 1 or 2 persons in a group that are interested in this, and then they come up with a structure, and if this is not working, then it's coming back personally to those 1 or 2 people in the group. So I thought about a platform to share and publish different organization structures for collectives, so people could take different ideas from a more objective place, like outside of the group, and just decide on, let's try this one or this one out and comment on it and idea together.
So how do you solve this problem? So you've described this to me a few times, that you live in like, you're working and living in one of Europe's largest communal squat spaces, not Kampnagel, that's a theater. Gang of Viertel. Gang of Viertel in Hamburg. And how would a product like this solve the problem of, you've often described to me a lot of disagreements, and when new people come along, they often don't share the same values. How would this product help with that?
So this product is helping because it's a platform where you can upload your own ideas, working structures in a form of a contract. So you have a social contract. It's not legally binding. It's just like a social agreement, but you have something written down where everybody is like clear with this agreement. And if new people join the group, you can just hand out like, hey, we're working in this structure. We have this model of communication, organization and stuff. And then it's more objective, and it's not this. The friends I'm already knowing tell me something like, oh, it's working kind of this way in the group, but nobody really knows, and then there's a lot of energy loss because nobody knows what's right or wrong to do. And
so it's simple social contracts for revolutionaries, right?
Yeah, like simple social agreements, how to behave in a group, how to manage feedback, how to manage information, how to decide, like it's a big topic, like how do you make your decisions in a group. Because a lot of people just know strong hierarchy or basic democracy, and if they don't want to go in one of those, then they think it's better to have no structures, but that's not good.
Great. So what were you hoping to learn from this smoke test?
Yeah, I think I wanted to learn on one side if people have awareness for this topic already. Like it's really important to me, but I don't know what's out there in the world. So this was one question. And the other question was if people would sign this epic contract with all creatures on this planet I came up with, without knowing more, like without knowing me personally or knowing more about the project.
So when you say creatures, do you mean like dogs and cats could sign up as well?
Yeah, maybe if they're able to sign here. I think there are a few cats with a Facebook account and stuff, so maybe they could sign also. I like the word creatures because it's not like human or man, women and stuff. We're just co-creatures on this planet.
Great. Are there any risky assumptions, like big assumptions you had about what would happen when people saw this website?
Yeah, I think there are two. Like one is that people would sign this contract, and the other is that people already have some knowledge ready in mind to contribute. So I think this was like the biggest or riskiest assumption making of it.
Okay, so 2 calls to action. That's a pretty, you're asking for 2 things, that they sign a contract and that they contribute their own. Okay, well, let's find out if people were willing to do that. Shall we switch over to the video?
Yeah.
Okay, thanks, Katya. Just mute your mic while we're watching. Thank you. Okay, here we go. All right, that's me again.
CCT creates a new path for social change by collectively uncovering structures for post-competitive realities. Okay, fine.
I do like this. I like what that says and what it means.
I like the layout of the website. It's very clean. It seems like it will be easy to use. It seems like it's very organized.
I think a lot of people really want to do something and don't really understand or don't have a good idea of how to organize, or don't think it's really necessary to organize. I found that that's a pretty big problem. So
this seems like a really cool idea.
Once I kind of dug in there a little bit more, I kind of got the idea. At least I think I have the idea. I'm still a little bit fuzzy on exactly what happens.
It is clear. It's a way to help individuals with their freedom and making sure that everyone is on the same page. The world can be together and respect each other. As far as what I would do next, I would sign my first trust contract right here and get my free badge.
I commit to myself and all creatures on this planet. Oh wow, sounds ambitious.
Act in a cooperative, empowering manner, okay. Respect every creature's motivation, right to privacy.
These rules are interesting and so on, but I don't know, I'm unsure.
Because all of these things are important to me, so I feel okay signing this part.
So yes, I will sign the contract, because it seems like I want to be trusted.
So that was easy. This section here is about user-generated database for co-creation structures.
I'm not interested in creating a contract, not only because I'm not exactly sure what it means or what it does, but because I don't really have anything that I'm trying to put together right now.
I just feel like I should be able to join different contracts, not just create my own.
So basically, at the moment, I'm confused. I'm intrigued, but I'm a bit confused, and I would like to find out more about that, and and the ways I can contribute to the website and so on.
On this task, I'm kind of on the fence. I want to check it out, but I don't want to actually do it.
Okay, Katya.
Yes.
What did you learn from these tests?
First I learned that many people are willing to find my idea of peace and love in the world. It was great, the students. And on the other hand, I recognize that people don't have this knowledge ready in mind, so I think it would be better to show the mechanics of this platform, like really produce it and have it online so people can see what they get if they participate, and also like give some instructions for the people to reflect on their own collective structures. Because nobody contributes to the contract, nobody directly had some content to upload. Yeah, I think this is what would be best to do next, like to create this platform and the symbols for different contracts and have some example content. Then maybe also like actively ask some collectives I know to contribute some structures.
Right, so it seems like there's a lot of feedback like, I just want to sign more contracts. But which I never thought I'd hear. That I hate signing contracts, but that was a surprise.
Also, but I think one thing was the word contract is maybe not the best. There was one user feedback like, it's a way to sign contracts without a lawyer. So maybe the contract word is irritating.
So maybe a new word. Maybe a new word, like you mentioned agreement or something, or.
Yeah.
I think we can come up with something more fun though. Like, I'm going to sign a creature contract or something. I don't know what it would be. Treaty.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there's a suggestion for treaties, but there's there's
Yeah.
baggage there too. Okay.
Yeah, but I think at least the most important thing is that people want to see how the whole thing works before contributing to it.
Well, it's a very hopeful idea. So thank you for sharing it, and I look forward to seeing the next version that I'm probably going to work on. Okay. Thank you. Okay. So up next we have Yinan Song. Yinan is in London. She's an artist, a designer, and a program. She's based in London, where she's completing her MA right now in information experience design. Not sure what that means, despite working in the field. She's at the RCA currently, which is an excellent school. Yinan, tell us a little bit more about yourself and what you're doing. Oh, you're muted, I think. Oops. Are you muted?
Hello.
Now I can hear you.
I'm Yinan. I'm an artist and designer. I studied art and political science in the US. And before, I'm Chinese, by the way. And you probably can't tell from the accent. I need to kind of say that, because when I say that, I might not move back to the US and you think something happened to me, but nothing really happened. It's just I'm Chinese. And now I'm doing my MA in information systems design in World College of Art at the moment.
Oh, great. So I don't know what, so you've specified that you're Chinese, you're in London, you went to school in America, so you're taking over the world. Is that is that a threat?
No, I just got asked that. Like, I think it confused people a little bit. And then sometimes I forgot to say that I tried to make up by saying that I am Chinese, but it doesn't really mean anything.
Okay. Well, we think you're great. Can you tell us a little bit about your product, and can we take a look at your website?
Sure. Oh, one second, I'm not sharing the screen.
Yinan's very busy, actually, because she's preparing for her final exam.
Whoa! Okay. Can you guys see it?
Yep.
Okay.
It's a little bit small, that's the only thing. I don't know if you can, wide. That's fine. Go for it.
Okay.
Oh, that's better.
So this is my product called Deeply, which takes the form of a condom and a condom wrapper. And then once you open it, you'll see a little rubber ring with an SD card that comes with an operating system called Tails. This system is a very lightweight operating system that you can just use through this SD card, so you can reboot your computer into this mode. So what it does is that it doesn't preserve any of your information, and then also it keeps your traffic private through using Tor within the system. So this is a way for people to access the deep web, use it as an encryption tool to communicate or do other things. And so here's my tagline: better safe than sorry, hassle-free, less or no side effect. Enjoy the deep web and the freedom that comes with it. So this project is the winner of the Crypto Design Challenge 2016, which is the theme. The theme is design something for the deep web, but for the general public, but not just for the geeks or people who are interested in encryption or deep web, dark web. And then there is the product shops, and then finally the ending.
So who is this product for, Yinan? I mean, I'd like browsers that come in condom packages as much as the next person, but who is this specifically for?
So I was hoping that the early adopter would be someone who cares very deeply about their privacy, such as the political bloggers, journalists, and whistleblowers. But I'm also interested in testing out if the general public are interested, because we always hear that people just kind of give up on privacy these days. While there could be ways that they can do, it's just people are willing to do it or not.
So how does this solve a problem for them? What problem are you solving?
So the problem that we have, like I mentioned earlier, is the issue of privacy. These days we're using consumer electronics that comes with a lot of a little not backdoors, but the way that they function, black box. So they take a lot of information from you. You don't know what they're taking, give permissions, but it's vague. So that we kind of want to have a better control over what we're sharing in some ways. but also the idea of this, like the master surveillance system that we're having right now. I think this is like kind of like a way for people to kind of go under it and not to worry like as much. I mean, it's not like 100% safe, but it's much better. That like I think it's still against the idea of mass surveillance that you're not like in the broad daylight. You're kind of like encrypted, even though it's not 100% safe.
So I mean, I get that it gives me privacy, but is it like it's easier to use because I just put this in my SD card slot? Like, is it versus existing alternatives, which I assume there are ways to keep yourself private online that don't involve the condom, or is it so that I can hand it to friends more easily to help them, be more safe?
Right. So the reason, as I mentioned earlier, so this is actually kind of using like existing operating system called Tor. Even if you're using Tor, especially if you don't have a Windows, it's actually kind of hard to use it because you have to find a Windows machine to do it, and I kind of these days we're so familiar or like comfortable with like consumer technology, like we don't want to go that, like spend a day trying to figure out how to use it. If there is just comes with a car and you can just put it into your computer and then reboot your computer and that's it. I think that would be a better way than the path we're having to this.
Right. So if you can use a condom, you can use this, basically, right?
Yes.
Okay. So what are you hoping to learn with this smoke test?
So I'm interested to know why people are interested in using this. And what would be the motive for them to use it? Because we kind of like a lot of you have some assumptions that if you have nothing to hide, then you don't want to do anything like this, because this is like something when I talk to someone who doesn't care about encryption or say, well, I have nothing to hide, why would I want to use this? So I kind of want to know what would be a general kind of reason that we want to use it.
I'm also interested in personally, because you didn't set a price on it, whether people would pay for it and how much they would pay. We talked a little bit about that, right?
Right, exactly.
Okay, so
okay.
Let's find out. Let's find out the answer. I'm going to switch over to the video now. Can you mute your mic?
Yes.
Okay, thanks. All right. Yinan's smoke test video.
Okay, so it looks like a series of condoms with the word deeply on it.
I mean, not much to look at. It's just a deeply. Is that like a poster or something, maybe? Can't really make out what the writing says, so.
It's very interesting. It's like a pile of condoms, I guess. Get 20% off it. First thing first, it's very interesting and intriguing. Like, to see a page full of condoms is not what I expected to see, but.
Cares about his privacy.
So it's not VPN. Is it VPN?
I'm not quite sure what this is, a browser.
Okay, so I think it's talking about, is it internet security?
Protection.
Yeah, okay, so it's like some antivirus link, I'm guessing. To keep you safe, and you can go onto the dark web with it, a deep web. Which you definitely need some good security to get onto that.
Deeply up to your live operating system details. I'm sure the details will be there. I have it. Runs on an SD card. Writes a single. I don't know how special it is because I'm sure you just know details of everyone.
I would say it could be clear on what it's for quickly.
What would I pay? Oh, let's have a look at, let me just have a quick look. See what Norton is. Norton price.
I would say anywhere between £50 and £400.
I think you could charge off this and run the marketing really well, but I wouldn't charge more than £10 for this, if that.
£10.
Just because I think people are always trying to find free things.
I'm not interested because I'm happy with I've got Windows right now and I've got Norton.
I'm not interested in signing up for this product because I think it could be clearer exactly what it's offering me. It does say, but it's quite, takes a while to work out.
I'm very interested in just before subscribing, we need to confirm my email.
I'm gonna enter Because I don't actually, if I get another job, I don't actually use Tails, which is very bad. I'm very embarrassed about it. I'll sign up with my email.
I don't know if you heard, but he said he's very interested to see what would come from it. He's very intrigued. Okay, let's come back to Yinan. Yinan, what will come from this test? Microphone, sorry.
So I am so surprised. I guess I talked to you earlier about how you said you've already kind of filtered a group like Target, a certain group of people. So I'm like really surprised how aware they are of these things. I feel like some of them are more familiar with these deep web than I am. It's definitely very interesting to hear the master voice person, and then made me think maybe I should protect my identity by creating some kind of shelter myself. But I guess this project is about kind of normalizing it, but letting the general public to know that there is a way that they can sort of go under the surveillance. And I really liked all the kind of UI suggestions as well. Since my website is actually adapted from my kind of project, like my website explaining what it is, as opposed to like really making it like a typical product site. I kind of wanted to balance that, like being like partly product, like typical product launch site, but also partly having like a kind of like a critical or like informative edge to it. Even though people are not using it, they can still be informed about this kind of measure.
Yeah, I mean, what I learned was that, so I did target the test, like I did what's called screening, and also I did marketing to target specific types of people who cared about privacy. But what I learned is that these people appreciate things that look really surprising and cool. They kept mentioning how cool it looked, and so coolness and privacy go hand in hand. That's a big surprise to me. Anyway, thank you so much for sharing it on, and I guess that's it for all the artists, but we're gonna open it up to Q&A now. If there are any questions or answers, the artists have generously volunteered to try and answer your questions. We're only midway through the smoke test. It's gonna proceed through the rest of the anthology. So we're gonna learn a lot more. We're running Google AdWords. We're generating as much traffic to the sites as possible. So please share the sites with your friends. Visit themoviemuseum.com. But right now, if you have any questions, I'd love to share, or feedback, because like this is really about providing feedback to these artists and challenging some of their assumptions about what they think would work in the world and what we know we would like to see. Anyway, any questions, feedback, suggestions for the artists? One person? Come on.
I'm interested.
Okay, Christy.
Deeply,
yeah.
Could that work in China, the internet, where it's more controlled?
Can you hear that, Yinan? So the question is for you, Yinan. Could this product work in China? Would it work on a browser or on a computer in China?
Yes.
So, but it begs the question, like, could I market this product in China?
In terms of countries where internet is more controlled, this enables people to have a way to browse without being searched.
For privacy, so you can reboot in a single click or give it to a friend, or walk into a bar and do whatever you want. I'm just
like, for example, VPN works in China. Like, a lot of people use VPN to access the internet for the websites that are banned in China, for example. But the problem with VPN is that, first of all, a lot of companies are required to keep a log of their activities. So if they really want to, if the government really wants to know, they can ask for it. So it kind of like compromises the purpose of it. And then also like VPN, especially ones at work, usually like paid service. So like you have to pay like a monthly subscription fee. which actually can be a lot for like Chinese people. If it's dollar and then it's like, I don't know, $15 and it's still like 100 yuan in China, which is not like super.
Okay, well, I look forward to maybe throwing condoms from a parade float at the next military parade in China. Anyway, so if there are there any other questions, feedback before we? Oh, one more from Jonathan.
Has Claudia ever eaten a whole soft gun?
Claudia, have you ever? Oh, Claudia, have you ever eaten a whole soft gun?
I mean, I think I ate more than that, but don't next year.
All right, well, I'm still looking forward to eating my first soft gun. That sounds really wrong, but anyway, thank you so much, everyone. Any final words from any of the artists? No? All right, thanks, guys. I'll see you online later, and we'll talk about results and next steps. Take care. That's it. Thanks, everyone. Hang out and chat informally, have a beer.
I think I should first of all say a huge thank you to Jeremy and all the artists who participated today. Very much exciting, crazy, innovative, exciting.
Hey, you don't have to be certain yet. Let it soak in.
I want to say a big thank you to Boa for letting us use the space here. Most of you